What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And today is actually going to be a workout with me and Kane. But as you can see, it is a different gym. We are, of course, doing the legs, starting out with the hamstrings, doing a laying hamstring curl first to accentuate and pump up those hamstrings before doing the rest. Basically a pre-exhaustion method. But as I mentioned, it's a different gym. It's actually in the town or the city that I used to live in before moving in with my girlfriend. But my parents and Kane still live near this gym, so on occasion I go back to the city to train there. But usually I do my workouts at 100% Fit Gym in Best. Check out the website 100fitgym.nl if you want to check out the gym itself, all the equipment. But anyway, we are doing the legs, starting out with the best isolation movement for the hamstrings that there is, the lying leg curl. And the thing is, I always put the amount of weight that I do with each exercise. And personally, the hamstring equipment at our own gym, 100% Fit Gym, which is from Panada, it's a different brand, but it's a lot heavier than this one, which is a matrix machine. So it's always hard for me to put exactly the weight that I'm using there as a reference to you guys, because I used to be able to do, for example, in these leg extensions, 100 kilograms, even like 3 or 4 years ago, in yet another gym with much easier leverage. So that doesn't matter. That's why I always tell you guys to use mind-muscle connection before going for a weight that's as heavy as possible. So of course, you can be proud of yourself increasing the weight from one session to another, as long as your form is correct and the mind-muscle connection is there. Personally, for example, on the leg extension, I like to go all the way up, really feel that contraction for at least half a second, and then go all the way down, stretching it to the max, really utilizing all of the muscle fibers with the leg extension. Now, this is a high volume leg workout, so we did 5 sets of the leg curls first, really pumping them up, and then 5 sets of the leg extensions, really making sure that there's a lot of blood in the lower body and being properly warmed up before doing the heavier compound exercises. And if you're pretty tall like me, what you want to do to maximize the range of motion on the leg extensions is actually sit back as much as possible. So adjust the seat, the back support to go backwards as much as possible, so you have more stretch at the bottom with the quads. And that's really good to get a good pump in the quads to assist you in feeding the muscle during the barbell squat, which we're doing right here. I'm using, to me, this is a regular stance. To some people, it might almost look like a sumo stance, but honestly, if I put my feet closer together than this, I wouldn't be able to go below parallel without my back losing its positioning. I might actually round my back a little bit, or strain my lower back muscles, and that's not what I want to train here. I want to train my inner thighs as well anyway, so having a slightly wider stance will actually enhance the muscle fiber activation in the inside of the legs, because the wider the stance, the more of the inside of the legs that you actually target, the more narrow the stance, the more of the quad sweep you're able to target. Now, my body, and this simply is some bodybuilding philosophy, is literally not built to have a good quad sweep. You have some classic physique competitors in my lineup that have a great quad sweep, but they are able to squat much deeper and use a different stance compared to me, whereas I am using a different stance that gives me different qualities to different muscles. So, for example, I'm able to do a very wide grip bench press, going all the way down and upwards without any shoulder problems, and it does give me a very good chest. But compared to some of the guys using the squat technique, they're able to have a more narrow stance, have a better quad sweep than me, but it's really partly genetics and partly simply being consistent in the way that you exercise. But for me, getting overall leg thickness is what it's all about, because then it will be more in proportion to my upper body. And having a wide stance on the squat here actually enhances the thickness in the inner thighs, and that is what creates the illusion of having bigger legs. And it's all about having an illusion on stage. Because if I measure my legs around my quads, they probably measure up to quite the same numbers as most of the guys on stage. But because I'm taller, because if I have different muscle, bellies in my legs, it might look less massive from some angles. But that is bodybuilding for you. Mostly genetics, some training consistency, but mostly being smart about how you are implementing every workout consistently to build muscles exactly how you want it, which to me is what classic bodybuilding, the art of bodybuilding, is all about. You deciding how you want to look. And if you look closely, I'm going down a little below parallel, really using the glutes to drive myself back up, because I want to increase the mass in the glutes and the hamstrings also. And I'm using the mind-muscle connection created by the previous exercises, by the blood being in there, to more easily contract the muscles when you're normally not really feeling them. Because if I start out with a barbell squat, for example, and go really heavy, the only thing I feel is my entire body fatigued before my legs actually giving in. But now when I do my squat here, I actually feel the legs fatiguing before my body does. And that to me is what bodybuilding is about. I could go a lot heavier without my legs being taxed beforehand, but it will only, make my body, my stamina improve over time instead of the muscle which I'm trying to work. Alright, next up is a leg press. Now this is pretty much the only exercise that I can do with a narrow stance, narrow positioning of my legs to actually enhance the quad sweep. So every time that I do a leg press, I like to do it either shoulder width or a little closer. On occasion I like to do a wide stance, but it's only when I'm not doing a squat variation of that. But really doing it this way, I really feel I can target the outside more, especially when pressing upwards. You can see that the contraction is present in the outside. And again, I say this with every single exercise targeted for a specific portion of a muscle. You cannot specifically target for example, the quad sweep, but you can enhance and emphasize the tension there by changing positioning. Just like having a wide or close grip barbell curl, you could emphasize the contraction of the inside or the outer head of the biceps. You could do the same with the legs without individually contracting the part of the quads, which is impossible. You can emphasize the tension there, which, if you do it consistently over years of training, will yield a different result. So that really requires discipline. And the leg presses, again, I can put the weight right there, but every single leg press is a different angle, a different resistance they use, so it's very hard to determine how much weight it actually is, how much stress the muscles feel. So again, if you don't feel the legs working, if you really feel this as a whole body exercise, as you just get tired from it, you should use a lighter weight and go with a little higher reps. I personally did that here, going to at least 15 reps, and those last 5 extra reps above the 10 reps actually enhances the pump in such a manner that I can actually feel the legs much better compared to sticking to 10 heavy reps. Going to those 15 reps on a leg press, and usually a heavy exercise that you could go heavy with anyway, you can feel a much better mind-muscle connection and get a much better pump in the muscle that you're actually training, which to me is the key to muscle growth. And then to finish off this workout, we're actually doing some weighted lunges, around 26 steps. So I just walked all the way on this platform right here, on this plateau, 13 steps each time. But it's quite heavy, especially when you look here. You can see that my body is giving in a little bit, really feeling the stretch. What I'm trying to do here is the steps aren't too big. I'm really trying to have my foreleg make like a squat movement. If I step forward too much, the squat movement is limited and it won't have the same effect. Alrighty guys, that was the workout of today. What I was wearing is actually the performance joggers, which are already available on the website divisiongenetics.com. But also I was wearing a new top, such as this one, the dropped armhole tank top, and the one I was wearing in the video was a sleeveless muscle vest. They are all coming out brand new to the website in just a couple of days, so make sure to check the website out. And if you want to be kept in touch about updates on the website, about things getting back in stock, discount codes and new items, make sure to subscribe to the website with your email. Just leave your email there or create an account, and that way you can actually get those emails delivered to you. And then you will know exactly what's going on with the website. Anyway guys, I want to thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. My legs have been steadily improving over this off season, and I'm going to do my very best to make them even bigger and better, but most importantly, more qualitative. Instead of just bigger muscles, I want quality muscles on my entire body, so that is exactly what we're going for. Anyway guys, I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.